Welcome back everybody, and you're watching BitcoinerTalk. In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about the housing market and how it will not work in your favor if you're not saving in Bitcoin. Because if you're a young adult, if you're around your 20s or maybe even 30s, or if you're just a first-time home buyer and you're saving in the fiat currency, you will never win. You will probably have to take on a mortgage for 25 years, 30 years, depending what the offer is, but it will just not be a fun experience. And I want to show you is that if you buy a home with Bitcoin, that will be a better choice. And I just want to show you that if you just save in Bitcoin and then buy a house later down the line, that will be probably the best decision you have made. So I'm using a website called Priced in Bitcoin 21, a very useful website to track prices in Bitcoin. At the moment here, I'm watching the United States medium new house priced in Bitcoin. A regular home in United States on average as of now costs around 4.5 Bitcoin, which is a lot. Yes, when you think about it, it's still quite pricey, but let's just check how much it cost maybe like a year ago. So I have a chart. If you can see the chart, I have selected 5 years. So it just be a better example. So let's just scroll as an example. April 1st, 2023. A house on average cost 14 Bitcoin, as you can see. So yeah, the prices have went down massively. Then if you check maybe on December 2022, a regular house on average cost 25 Bitcoin, nearly 26 Bitcoin. Okay, that's quite pricey. Then when you check around July the 1st of 2022, a regular house costed 24 Bitcoin. So you can get the example, and if you go on maybe December the 1st, 2021, a regular house costed 7 Bitcoin. So the price is fluctuating. Yes, that might scare somebody. But let me remind you that if you held and saved for a new home in US dollars, you would only be losing value. There would be no fluctuation, getting it for more, getting it for less. There would be no chart, as you can see on my screen. There won't be a fluctuation from a higher price to a lower price to a higher price to a lower price. And at the moment we are on 4.5 Bitcoin per house on average. So there would be none of that. There would just be a line of going down, 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 down. And you may ask why? Why would there no be fluctuation? Because the US dollar is always losing value. And not just US dollar, but the Great British Pound is losing value. The Canadian dollar is losing value. Any other currency you have in mind is losing value. That's just how it works. That's how the governments have been doing it since since US have took off the gold standard. And yeah, ever since it's been a mess. So let's just see, for example, 5 years ago. Well, not quite 5 years ago, but yeah, March the 1st, 2020. So nearly 5 years ago, right? An average home in United States priced in Bitcoin cost 30, 38 and a half Bitcoin. That is mental. That is like, at today's prices, that is super expensive. That is like, you could probably buy a whole villa with a lot of land. But that was just a regular price, and that was 5 years ago. So my point is that if you were to save starting from today for your new house, and I'm not saying, save all your Bitcoin and then use all your Bitcoin to buy a house. No. What I was gonna say is that if you just stack sats, save Bitcoin, you never know. Maybe in 5 years you could afford a regular house, just not a mansion, but just a regular house, maybe 2 3 bedroom house, just a regular home for you and your family for half a Bitcoin, maybe for 0.1 Bitcoin. You have to look at the long term. You have to look at the past, what happened in the past, how the price was fluctuating, how the price was, different prices of homes measured in Bitcoin, and how it is now. And it's just unbelievable how far we actually came to a house costing on average 4.5 Bitcoin, which is still quite a lot when you think about it. It just indicates that it's going to get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper if you're saving and if you're counting in Bitcoin standards. If you're looking at fiat currency, as I said, if you're saving in fiat currency, it's just going to be a never-ending debt game. You'll be on mortgages, you'll have to own a bank, the bank is going to own your house, you'll just be paying them off to eventually at some point own that property. I'm not against property, no. That's the reason I'm talking to you, is about how to actually win in this game, how to actually get the house for cheaper. Because a lot of people think that, my house is going up in value. No, your house is not going up in value. The currency that you're a part of, US dollar, Great British Pound, Canadian dollar, ruble, whatever it is, it's losing value. So your house is not gaining more value. On paper, on in sense, maybe it would be, but realistically, it's not. The only reason it's more valuable to afford a house because the currency is devaluing itself. So just let that sink in. Think about it. Is it actually worth holding a currency that is always losing its value? It's always losing its purchasing power. It's not worth it. I'm telling you straight away, it's not worth it. So we looked at United States medium of new house, right? So let's see what United Kingdom has to offer. Oh, so in United Kingdom, an average home costs 2.9 Bitcoin, so nearly 3 Bitcoin. And if you check here, for example, on November 30th, 2023, an average home in United Kingdom cost 7.5 Bitcoin. So here you go. Once again, you're looking at a price that was higher and now it's, dropped down, so it's cheaper technically. So the next time somebody tells you, oh, my house has appreciated value, well, you should show them that against Bitcoin, it hasn't. It actually is losing value. But it is beneficial for you if you're a first-time homeowner and you want to buy a home. You want to buy a house for your family, but you're buying it with Bitcoin and it's going to be way cheaper. It's a no-brainer. There might be, as I'm showing, for example, on November 30th, 2022, an average home costed 17.3 Bitcoin, right? And at the moment it costs 2.9, right? So there might be a time where the graph might go up again a wee bit. It might cost 5 Bitcoin, but that's not going to last forever. We're going to go back to a house costing an average home in United Kingdom will cost 1 Bitcoin. Then it will cost half a Bitcoin. Then it will cost 0.1 Bitcoin. Then at some point it will cost 0.01 Bitcoin. So for the rest of our lives, my life, your life, another person that is quite young or still, not old enough to die soon, in their lifetime, the houses are just going to get cheaper if you're saving in Bitcoin. If you're saving in US dollar, it won't. Sorry, you're just going to be, a debt slave. You're just going to have to mortgage your home. You just have to get a loan on it. You don't want to live in a house that is truly not yours. It's the bank's, you don't actually own it. You're only paying off monthly to, at some point in your life, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years later, to actually own the house. So, do you think it's worth it? Or maybe you should just start saving in Bitcoin if you're planning to buy a home. If you're the first time buyer. Maybe you're not a first time buyer. Maybe you want to buy another property somewhere in, I don't know, Thailand or somewhere in Brazil or somewhere in, I don't know, another country, because in those countries houses are even cheaper if you price them in Bitcoin. It's way cheaper. This was Bitcoiner Talk. I hope this video was educational. I hope you got something out of this video, and I hope you start saving in Bitcoin. I'll see you in the next video.